And we're live. Welcome, everybody. This is the Check-In Show. Only Don, Xanklin, and myself are on the poster, but after a 2-week absence, the Mike Gamache has returned to the upside-down ziggurat that is this show until or if we ever have the return of Claudio Capri.
Yes.
Welcome. So anyone
Welcome.
that's tuning in, we are some friends who just kind of like to check in on each other. We've started doing this over the
The
pandemic, I
ongoing,
guess.
the
Yeah, the
ongoing pandemic, because still hasn't come to a screeching halt yet.
yeah, a little bit of a
It's
lockdown. I'm seeing dust on my camera, so I'm just should have took care of that earlier. Yeah, how has everybody's week been?
well, I've had pretty uneventful week. Yeah, fairly uneventful week. Things are quieting down in my home renovations on my home renovations front. Although I did have it like on Monday, I've been missing the past 2 weeks because of my mother-in-law's medical appointments that I had to bring her to. And on Monday, she had a medical appointment as well. And while I was away getting my mother-in-law to her appointment, we were having some new electrical connections made to our house, and Hydro-Quebec decided that while I was away, they would pop in on my wife, who's working from home, cut off her power, which is not helpful when you're working from home,
Uh-huh.
and reconnect our wire and reposition our wire to avoid our wire being over our yard for a reason for next spring we'll be putting in a pool. So
Mhm.
anyway, so they cut her off for about 45 minutes, which she had to make up at the
Wow.
end of the day. But
Yeah.
and I got a call from my wife saying, Hydro-Quebec is here. Why didn't you tell me? I said, well, they were supposed to be here on the 8th of November, but they were a full week ahead, and they didn't call us. They didn't give us a heads up that, oh, by the way, we're going to be by like in half an hour or something like that. They just showed up and tried to get in the backyard, which was locked, and they rang the doorbell because like, can you let us into the backyard? We were going to move the line for you. And my wife says, now? Like, yeah, okay, well.
Yeah,
That's utilities for you. That's like places like Bell and like it's just they don't seem to think that people have lives or things they're doing at that moment. Just like, hi, we're here. Okay, deal with it.
Elise Gamache is going. Hi, you
Hey,
guys.
hey, Lise, hi sis.
I fully apologize. I don't know why I made it sound like you were from the Goonies.
Hi
Hey, you guys.
guys. Yeah.
Oh boy. No, for me, I guess the funny stuff happened for me like in comedy planning. So I decided kind of at the last minute that I was going to set up a pop-up comedy show in I guess, near the end of the month to have some comics that I really liked that I haven't really seen much of on local stages doing sets that they can have recorded and have clips that they can submit to the Winnipeg Comedy Festival. So we're going to do that on the 20th. And it's going to be like a weird time of day, but it's super fun because as I was putting it together, I thought I need to do more of this because I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I'm also writing a bunch because I thought, let me just practice my task writing, my task-based writing, and just do as many pieces as I want that that I'm interested in, and throw them out there. Like regardless of if they get used, at the end of it, I will have content that I can actually put on my YouTube channel and maybe get subscribers.
That's an excellent whole thing that you've put together. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh no, it's just
I congratulate you on that. That's something
thank you.
everybody should delve to do.
Oh yeah, because in my day
is there
job,
room for one
this
more? Because
routine.
I've been reading through
Ooh.
Ooh,
I will
the
always make
topics.
room. Just let me know. You can message me and let me know how much time you need.
Okay.
It can work. And so yeah, it's really
And
no,
this
it's
wa-
been
and
a
this
good
was
experience because in
this,
my day job I do this. I
yeah,
just haven't done it for comedy.
right.
Yeah.
And this is going to happen at the end of the month, you said?
Yeah, near the end of the month, the 20th. The 20th.
Okay.
The deadline for submission is the 30th,
Mhm.
but the person who's taking care of all the technical stuff is also generating the clips. So it's going to be fast.
Mhm. Good.
So so it'll be fun. And yeah.
Are you hosting the thing?
I don't know yet. I think I might because of just how much content I would record, and I don't think I want to sort of like bottle the show with all of it. So and I want to there's some comics in the lineup that I really want to get as much space as possible because
Right.
they're I hadn't seen them. I kind of stumbled on them by accident, and I thought, holy shit, you're so funny, and you need to be everywhere, but not.
Mm-hmm.
Emmett
So-
Morrison. Who are these acts?
Oh, I'm not going to reveal them all yet, but
Mm-hmm.
they're some amateur comics, but I'll reveal them once the poster's done.
Okay.
then I can
And
share it or something.
these are all like anywhere between like 5 to 7 minute sets, or
It depends on how much content they want to record.
but how much? What's for the Winnipeg
for
Comedy
the festival,
They need
I
8 to
believe
10.
8 minutes.
They need 8 to 10, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's the minimum. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm ready.
Yeah. So you're banking on the fact that most of these people have 8 to 10 solid minutes.
Well, but that's what the show's about.
Okay.
So it's basically pitched to them to
Right.
perform if
Right.
they were interested in submitting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if not,
Well,
they still have a clip.
if somebody submits, they should be fairly certain that they have the 8 to 10 minutes.
Oh
required.
yeah, because otherwise it's a waste of time, right?
Exactly. And this is going to be like what, an hour and a half show?
I think so. So far.
Yeah?
Far.
Okay.
Yeah. I just think attention spans are. I don't really
Right.
tolerate really long shows very well. At
Right.
least mine.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I was asking if you would host, because if you're hosting, then at least you have the control of keeping the show tight, and and not having somebody, because sometimes you get somebody to host and that person sort of starts doing crowd work or doing stuff.
Well,
that,
I find I don't
between,
have a very good tolerance, really poor hosting, because
Right.
as much as I was just getting started, I know what I like to see as an audience
Mhm.
member.
Right.
And then when a host doesn't do anything about the energy,
Right.
once a comic leaves the stage, like if it needs to be managed,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really annoys me because
Yes.
it's a missed opportunity, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
the audience is lost.
Or worse yet, you have hosts sometimes who they come along and thinking that they're going to bring up the crowd, they kill it instead.
Yeah, I went to one show and then the host was basically like, "Okay, next comic, and there was no jokes," and I was just like,
Well,
"Oh my
okay,
god!"
As
Yeah.
somebody who hosts a lot, there's
Yeah.
for the Great Canadian Laugh Off competition,
Mhm.
you're told everybody has to have the same intro, and you're not supposed to be doing time between them.
Right.
Oh.
So that's a stipulation of going in to be the host of that event. But the thing is too, there's some people who get into hosting thinking that it makes it about them, and thus if somebody ends on a high note rather than folding that in and bringing up the next act so they get to benefit it, they try to ride it as long as they can, and then they'll tank the energy for the room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the selfish type hosts.
Yeah, I've heard in one comedy group, someone called them the host liners because they think the
Yeah.
show's about them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, Mike, just to
Yes.
answer your question,
Yes.
there's 6 themes that they're looking for, and each 8 to 10 minute set has to be one of those themes and only one of those themes. You can't mix the themes.
Okay. So that's how they curate the festival,
Right.
basically.
So you're auditioning, and it needs to be TV friendly, but they're
Right.
only broadcasting 5 of the 6 themes.
Okay.
Galas. The one is Die Laughing.
Right.
The other one is Naughty Bits. So they
That's-
give
yeah.
them titles.
Yeah.
So that one I imagine is going to be the hardest one for them to televise.
Yeah.
Probably. And also, yeah, if it's supposed to be TV friendly and the show's called Naughty Bits, how do you tiptoe around the fact
well,
that it's Naughty Bits?
if you remember my joke about Sudbury,
Yes,
there's one swear word in there, and I can take that out.
yes, yeah, it can. It's true.
Yeah.
It's very audience. Yeah, it's very it's non-graphic, but it's still very,
Graphic.
very
Well, I think it's an
It's graphic, but
opportunity.
yeah. It's not grossly graphic.
It's an opportunity to be clever, though, because a lot of
Yes,
people,
I
take content like that, and it's just sort of the like the lowest hanging fruit.
yeah.
But it's just a lot easier.
Yeah, I love working something that's very sort of
Your mic just kind of cut out there, Mike.
Yeah, there was a buzz, and then and you're frozen.
Oh, okay. I think Bell might be back working on his place.
Oh no.
I'm just all right. We'll give him a chance to reconnect. I'll go through the other categories.
Okay.
There's if it makes you happy. So feel good celebration of all things you. That's how they describe it. The great outdoors, everything relating to outdoor activities. Choppy waters. So telling us how you're navigating the choppy waters of the changing world today. And the other one is misguidance systems. So we all look to our parents and teachers and leaders for guidance.
Sorry, I just had a
you're
phone
back.
call in the middle of that.
Oh, okay.
That's why I sort of like went silent. I don't know. Did I cut out of your the feed?
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Paul just
Okay.
read all the categories for the
Okay.
Winnipeg Festival.
Right. But getting back to this Naughty Bits thing, I love working innuendo. I love talking
What
about
is that,
something
Italian suppository?
yeah, innuendo. Yes, yeah. Yes. But yeah, I love euphemisms. Euphemisms are, somebody who uses euphemisms well, I think is a craftsperson in comedy. Somebody who just will just spell it out, but not like in your face. And the laughs that people get usually from people who do things like that, they're very sort of like chuckly, like, oh, I shouldn't be laughing, but I'm laughing so fucking hard. I like stifled laughter.
Yeah. I'm the only one that saw Dune, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The new one.
The new one, yeah.
Who has seen the David Lynch version?
I've seen the original.
I don't think I made it through awake.
Yeah, it was tough slogging.
Yeah.
The original is very, very like. I mean, there's some great.
I'm getting blurry thinking about it.
Yeah, there's some great performances in it, but they sort of tend to get lost in just the overpowering, just like onslaught of anyway. It's just a very, very heavy movie to go through, and yeah, like you said, very, very sort of like hard to stay awake through. So, and let's face it, the material also is kind of like ooh.
Yeah, didn't someone call it unfilmable?
The book was deemed unfilmable. Yeah.
Well, Jodorowsky, the South American filmmaker,
Yeah.
Was working with Geiger to bring it out, and a lot of that actually influenced. There's a documentary about him, and he's the guy that did El Topo, Magic Mountain. Some really experimental.
Yeah.
South American films, and he was working on it. The thing is, I really should check this because Denis Villeneuve is an amazing
as director. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. He has vision. That there's very few directors, I think, who have a particular like style and vision that is their own, and he's one of them.
Yeah. I mean, Arrival is just it's slow paced, but when it clicks in what's happening, it is amazing, and there is a high level of tension through a big portion of it, and you get to understand these other characters' motivations.
Yeah. When you're watching a Denis Villeneuve film, you have to be paying attention
Yeah.
because he covers all the bases, and if it's sort of like almost blink and miss it, and it's like no, you have to be paying attention to this movie because he's put everything out there.
There was a 10-minute clip on YouTube of a deleted scene that happens prior to Blade Runner 2049.
Hmm.
And it was put out as released sort of as a prequel to the sequel of 2049. Now he has said in press that he thinks 2049 was a failure. I think it's still a beautiful film. And if you watch that 10 minutes before the film,
Yeah, they
it
should have
just,
kept it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Dave Bautista's character, Dave Bautista can act,
Hmm.
is what it showed me, and like he can act well. It's an amazing seeing Dave Bautista taking panic attacks, like really going through it. It was like so much.
I think the problem that Denis Villeneuve came up against with the Blade Runner, the continue these follow up to Blade Runner, was there was such high expectations for it that he probably fell short of what people were expecting, but it's still a great movie. So it's like, fuck, yeah, okay, it wasn't absolute perfection, it wasn't like, because Blade Runner just set the bar so high, the original. And it's like, yeah, you can do a follow up, and it doesn't have to be a mirror of the vision that the first movie brought to the screen. It can just be a continuing of the same story and somebody else's vision of it. So
Yeah, I personally I felt it fit. I didn't consider it a failure. I thought it was a good film. Don, you had no thoughts on?
I don't think I've seen all of Blade Runner either, the original. Yeah, I'm a bad nerd. But
Because there's several versions. There's like the North American release, the
Yeah.
European release, and then the
Yeah.
director's
Okay.
the
cut.
director's cut, yeah.
The
Yeah.
director's cut is pretty much the European release.
Yeah.
okay.
It's if you're confused, like Denis Villeneuve, his tone matches the director's cut, right? So people who are used to the North American release might be forgiven for feeling lost watching Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
What happened was the director Ridley Scott did Blade Runner, and then the studio said, North American audiences aren't going to understand that. We need to give a running inner monologue.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And so rather than just let the scene and the actors sort of show on their faces what everyone was thinking, they gave it, they really sort of upped the film noir category by having an inner dialogue with Harrison Ford's character.
Huh, interesting.
It was actually, I hate to say this, but it was sort of the Hollywood studios saying essentially, American audiences are not smart enough to get this movie, and so we'll dumb it down with this device that is the inner dialogue. Because I found when you watch the director's cut and if you watch the original, it does have that sense. The original has that sense of, yeah, they did something here that is not necessary, but I can understand partially because some less educated folks will probably not be able to conceptualize the actual story.
Now the hard part for me is the fact that I saw it in theaters when it came out.
Yep.
And then I saw the director's cut. So I saw the North American version, and then I saw the director's cut, and I went, "Oh, this is so much better." But I don't know, is because I heard the story behindhand, like previous. I don't know if that made me
Right.
understand it better.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm having some technical problems. Some things. I'm hearing both of you now with a electronic echo. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect. Okay.
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 There is why he's doing that now.
Okay, let's back. I'm back.
He's back. There is
Now I have no audio. Okay, something is definitely. I'm gonna bug out
log
and
out,
come
log
back.
back in. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I did want to talk about Dune.
Yeah. So how did it compare? Do you think you said that you saw the full original, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think of the
I like
original?
the full original. I read the book too.
Oh, okay.
I read a number of the books.
Okay, I think I solved my problem.
Okay.
Excellent.
So we were talking Dune.
Yeah.
I had seen the David Lynch version. I had read the books, and it was like I could see where David Lynch truncated stuff to just try to fit everything in,
Mhm.
and it was kind of obvious, and he added stuff that was that's gonna, like, if he does any of the other books, this isn't gonna make a lot of sense. But I mean, like incredible performances by Sting,
Mm.
right? Kyle MacLachlan,
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart, yeah. and the thing is, it was like I didn't realize it at the time because maybe I wasn't as educated at the time, and I didn't realize it when I was reading the book. It's very much, when I went in to see it, they clearly put on the screen part 1, so they don't even handle all of the first book in the movie. So they take it to a certain point where they can kind of cut it off. You get to a point, it's gonna where it's going to restart again, and it's still within the same book. Now, that's smart because it's so dense a book to read. Now, what David Lynch did is David Lynch used a lot of voiceover to explain everything in the original Dune, and that's why it was a huge snooze fest for a lot of people. Like, he actually had a minor character appear on screen at the beginning to give a monologue instead of doing like the Star Wars opening scroll.
You mean like to break the fourth wall, to talk to the audience?
Talk to the audience.
Ah,
To introduce the story, basically.
horrible.
To introduce the story. And they did that. It wasn't until I sat down there with my 2021 brain and watched this and heard like one of the characters refer to the indigenous people of this planet as savages. That made me go, this is like a pro-colonialism movie.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's like the Empire says they own the planet. They're removing one noble house to bring in another noble house to keep the spice, the resource that they want there coming out.
The continuity of colonialism.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so that is.
So the character who introduces the story is sort of like a prologue.
Yeah.
So that's very much Greek theater.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Lynch wasn't reinventing the wheel in doing this.
No.
But, voiceovers and all that to kind of fill in the audience of what is happening tends not to be
a movie thing, theater thing.
Well, not just you want to show, not tell, for the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
And Villeneuve doesn't use the voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
He shows, not tells.
Right.
There's points where it feels like, okay, this part was rewritten in today's language, but then there's other parts that are left in a more archaic speak. speech, even though it was written in 1965.
Right.
So
There are a few movies though where a narration works extremely well, and the first one that jumps to my mind is Shawshank Redemption. There, without the narration, I don't think Shawshank Redemption would have had the impact it had, because it's his telling of the story as the movie progresses. Morgan Freeman, it just there's many, like, the movie would have been great just by itself without the narration, but the narration sort of like takes you on more of, it brings you closer to the actual
inner workings. It's a fine line kind of thing.
It is, but that one was with
if you get actors who can subtly express themselves, then you have an idea of what they are thinking without having the words drummed into you. You know, and those kind of films get better with additional watching. It has narration as well, but Raising Arizona, right? You get. I think the narration is used sparingly, but the rest of the film shows that you don't need the narration.
Right.
It is a. Yeah, I think it is. It's a dumbing down thing. It's they are looking for the lowest common denominator.
But best used sparingly.
Well, I think that probably depends upon the source material, because let's face it, a lot of Stephen King's books, if they were made into a movie, if there was not a modicum of some type of narration, most of the story would not be able to be like, you'd have a 6-hour movie for every book he wrote, you know, because his books are just so filled with descriptions and narration, and you know, there's things that they can't possibly show everything, you know.
Art direction, I think, gets a short shift in a lot of films, because I think good art direction can really can elevate a film greatly. There's a Repo Man, not Repo Men, or not Repo the genetic opera. Repo Man, sorry. Which was Emilio Estevez's first film, with Harry Dean Stanton, is a classic sci-fi film, and the characters don't know what's going on themselves for the most part. But there's subtle ways that they do have some narration coming in, and you catch it when you watch it again and again. Because like the stories that come on the news or the television program or the radio, they're giving kind of clues and extra information in the scene that's happening, and the way that the characters are interacting, and it's such a well woven story of chaos, which is so weird.
So did the new version have the narration as well, or did they show instead of tell?
They showed.
Nice.
They showed, and there's Denis Villeneuve excels at vistas, right? Like big panoramic type shots, and I find those really set the tone well. And the music score was it was almost overpowering.
Music is one of the very underappreciated aspects of cinematography that people just don't seem to realize how much, because music is so emotional and can set such a tone for a scene, that, you know, a good score, somebody who can put a good score to a movie, it's like it's 50% of the movie in my book.
There is some stuff, but because I've read the books, I haven't read all the books, but I've read books. There's stuff that he does, which is a subtle nod to the world building, which people who will have an idea something is up, but they won't know kind of what. In the history of Dune, there was a diaspora. People left Earth,
Hmm. Oh,
and
oh, they're
uh, uh,
humans.
yeah, they're all
Oh,
humans.
okay.
They all landed on like these various planets and did colonies, and then the spice was discovered, which allowed faster than light travel, like space
Okay.
folding.
Hmm.
And with that, then they began to connect together again, but that took another long time. So there were these houses and different cultures sort of built up. Now, just prior to the diaspora, there was the Butlerian Jihad, is what they call it. Uh, Basically, robots, AIs were formed, and uh, and it just became that was we AIs were just too dangerous, and so they had to get rid of all thinking machines.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
in the Dune universe, there are no high order computers,
Hmm.
Hmm.
none whatsoever. So, but to do all of this kind of stuff, they you need to be able to do these high level calculations and etc.
Right.
So you'll see these guys who have tattoos on
Hmm.
the bottom of their lip. They're called mentats, and what they do is they are basically a human computer.
Hmm.
They are trained and conditioned and genetically modified to be able to
Do
memorize
the
and
Yeah,
regurgitate facts and calculate
yeah. They're
information.
they're they're essentially the data keepers of the society.
Yeah. So there's also the religion of the Bene Gesserit, who are well, it's not so secret in the book, but they're secretly doing a breeding program to create the most evolved human, and they are sort of very fanatical about that.
Hmm.
And so they have the plan and the recipe to do it. And then what happened prior to the book is the main character's mother fucked it up.
Oh.
She's a concubine to a lord,
Hmm.
and he never married anyone else, but because she's a Bene Gesserit, he wasn't supposed to marry her,
Mm.
and he wanted a son, and she was ordered to only deliver daughters.
Mm.
And so she gave him a son, and now this is like the Bene Gesserits are going, oh, hold it, what's happened to our plan?
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So with the book series, is it a dense read, or is it well
very.
written? Oh.
It's
Mm.
1965 is when the book came out,
Oh, okay, got it.
right? So
So you're looking at like Asimov level science fiction, and
Hmm.
who's that other
it,
guy there? I'm trying to remember.
Tolkien,
No, 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 no. Uh,
it's incredible world building.
yeah.
Yeah, but kind of you have to be in the right frame of mind. It's not to read something like that, or at least I do.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, it's not. I mean, I've there's so many modern authors that I really enjoy
Hmm.
that I that makes reading that level or that aged,
Hmm.
um,
Well,
fiction hard.
there was a lot of science fiction from the like late 40s, 50s, early 60s. There was a lot of science fiction of that era that had undercurrents of political and socio commentary that were deemed like prescient, and it was a lot of the stuff was coded commentary on social and political themes of the era, which was
Yes,
the Cold War, the communism, all that stuff that
race
the
relations.
capitalism versus communism, yeah, race relations, you name it, it's so just social inequality. There were so many themes that were, and they showed up in these books, and those books, because of that, those books were heavy slogging, very heavy slogging.
There's yeah. I mean, they sort of were at that time. There was a lot of people in a lot of different directions working on social justice issues, and science fiction became a way to do that.
Mhm.
And I believe Frank Herbert thought he was enlightened at his time,
Mhm.
but just the theme of colonialism and how in your face it is. Sitting down to watch the movie now.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not subtle. It sounds like.
No, and there's definite classism as well. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it harkens back to Orwell in 1984 and Animal Farm and all that stuff. You know, it's the fabric of the novel is intertwined with the commentary that the person is trying to express, and it becomes like the commentary and the actual science fiction, if you will, plot and content get so intertwined that it's really hard to read and also to extrapolate from. So it's very, very heavy stuff.
if you look at like 1965, like the Twilight Zone,
Yeah.
or even when Star Trek came out, and with science fiction was a place that was safe to do morality tales
Yeah.
because they could get published in that way.
Yeah,
Because
Star
they're not
Trek was
challenging something that is current.
Star Trek was very political. I mean, they had a lot of anti-war, anti-racism. They just had a lot of commentary on, the colonialism, the aspect of the prime directive, of not involvement, of not changing the evolution of a society that they came across.
But they did it anyway.
Of course. Here's the thing: if you interact with any society, that interaction itself is thwarts the prime directive. You are affecting it regardless. So it's like just the act of beaming down to a planet that was perhaps not as advanced as the Star Trek universe was like. Yeah, it's like it would be like you're in colonial times here, and all of a sudden some guy whips by in a hot rod powered big machine, and they're going, what the fuck is that?
Questions. Questions for sure.
Yeah.
Oops.
So regardless of the prime directive, which says do not interfere or do not affect negatively that society. Your presence is affecting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So what else are people looking forward to? Dawn and I talked about the Wheel of Time last week.
Yeah. I'm going to see the Eternals, even though reviews say that it sucks. I just need to know. I don't put a lot of I don't rely a lot on reviews, so and I just want to see it for myself.
The Eternals are really like quite removed from the main body of MCU, isn't it? They're really like out of left field, aren't they?
Oh yeah, but they make a couple of references. So someone said, I don't know, maybe I should join the Avengers, and they all laugh because it's beneath them, I guess.
There's the Marvel universe, canonically, the comic books, they were hugely important as sort of the seeds to how superpowers got on Earth.
Right.
Okay.
And I think they're sort of doing that again now. Now, also, Thanos is the child of an Eternal.
Right.
Oh, I did not know that.
Because there was two, and I think they're going to be sort of addressing that in the Eternals as well, because there's more than one group of Eternals. There's the Eternals on Earth, but there were supposed to be also the Eternals on Titan. But I don't know what planet Thanos said he was from. So
I think it was Titan. That sounds very familiar to me.
Yeah, but Titan it was the moon of Jupiter when it was in the comic books,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
right? So they were within Earth's atmosphere, Earth's solar system.
System. Yeah.
So they, yeah. So it's a question about of that. They're going to be introducing someone else who's going to be played by redheaded British pop star.
Hmm.
He's going to be in the end credit scenes, and that's going to be Thanos' brother.
I hope he has a
That's
better
allegedly.
attitude than Thanos.
Yeah, well, it's.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Star Fox character, Arrows?
No, I don't.
Okay, he actually. This is one of the things is that character ended up being defended by She-Hulk on trial because his power is to make people interested and love him. And so it became a question of consent and
Mhm.
whether or
Yeah.
not he has control over it or
Right.
Or if it's just pheromones.
yeah.
Oh,
So
that's funny.
but it's also gives them a chance because they are talking about the energy being pumped in, like the snap and all
Mhm.
that, and there's obviously the Celestials are wanting something to happen to Earth, and the Eternals who are there who are supposed to be guiding it to happen are beginning to think maybe it's not a good thing.
Okay.
Okay.
And that might lead to the introduction of mutants in the MCU.
Ah.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It would be nice. It also though kind of makes me wonder if they're going to stick with the multiverse stuff a little while and maybe bring in mutants via the multiverse. But
Hmm.
because the who is interested in seeing Venom 2?
Mm, not me.
Yeah. All right.
Mm.
Neither. Same here.
Mhm.
But can I drop a little spoiler for the post credit
Absolutely.
scene?
Yeah.
The post credit scene in Venom 2 has him sort of relaxing, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch of blinking,
Hmm.
and the next thing it's on the news is J. Jonah Jameson going, Peter Parker is Spider-Man, the murderer of Mysterio. And so Venom has been pulled over into the MCU universe.
Cool. Nice.
So sort of like the other members that we've seen in the trailers for the Spider-Man No Way Home. We've seen Green Goblin bombs. We've seen Doctor Octopus. We've heard Electro. So there is there's if you get Venom in there, you just need two more, and you get the Sinister Six.
Nice. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to duck out, you guys, and see you
Okay.
next week.
Yep.
At a meeting. But a nice talking with you.
Take care, Don.
You too.
Okay.
So what else? I'm relaxing by the lake today.
Yes, I see that. It looks like a very, very nice day out there, wherever you are.
It's damn cold in my room.
Yeah.
I'm refusing to turn on my heat yet. So
One of those. It's not happening if I don't decide it's happening.
yeah, I have sweaters.
Yeah.
I had some health issues, which
Oh, no.
I'm getting checked out and medicated for. And
Good.
we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna have that checked out. And
Well, good. As it should.
Yeah.
Ignoring something never makes it resolve itself.
I wasn't ignoring it. I was trying to get a doctor, but
one of those. Okay, yeah.
It was 3 years.
Yeah.
I've been on a waiting list.
Yeah.
And to get a doctor, and then just by chance, one of the things a job I took, student nurses were checking my blood pressure, and the teacher didn't believe it until she came over and did it and said,
Okay.
you need to see a doctor. So I ended up in emergency. So that was the big panic there.
That seems to be a recurring theme in today's um, socialized medicine, is that you don't get care until you absolutely need it, and usually you get care because something has happened and you end up in emergency, and they say, oh, by the way, you really should see about this, like, instead of having a doctor who you can see every year at least, and have a run up of tests and stuff, and have him actually monitor your health. Because I haven't seen a doctor in like 3 years since the pandemic, before the pandemic even, and I've been on waiting lists too, and it's like,
do you have a family doctor?
I don't have a family doctor. I've been looking for a family doctor for the past 10 years. That's how, and I've been on several waiting lists and then never heard from them again. So it's like, I'm still out here. You still have my, my records are still somewhere out there in the ether, the ether of the healthcare system.
You can check online and just, give them little updates.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to get after it, because I'm getting on. I'm in my 60s now, and I think I should really be, proactive in doing some stuff. And I can't.
Little pokey.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, one of my retirement gifts to myself when I retired was I had a proctology. I had a proctologist, and I had the Roto-Rooter thing. What does it call that?
If it happens
the
at
colonoscopy,
a massage place,
the colonoscopy, right? Yeah. But I think it's been 10 years since I've had a colonoscopy. So it's like, fuck, I should probably do that again.
It's been 18 years since I've had a physical.
Oh God, yeah, I know. I can't remember the last full physical I had. So that's how long it's been.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. But, so far there's nothing, I don't have it. I have a little knee issue that every once in a while flares up. I don't have any type of, I don't have any digestion. I don't have any chest pain or anything like that. I don't think I have anything really, wrong with me. The last time I had a blood test, they told me my cholesterol was borderline. I've been trying to monitor what I eat but I've also been trying to get some more exercise. But
you also went and tested out that Donair place near you, right?
Yeah. That was just the one time.
That's all it takes.
Actually, that was actually a very, very pleasurable experience, but it was not something that I seek out. I guess I'm not as much of a Nova Scotian as I should be.
It's a taste of home.
Yeah, I guess back there. If you grew up on it, it's like people who grew up here in Quebec and they love their steamed hot dogs or smoked meat. If that's your sort of like your hometown comfort food / fast food / that's your signature sort of like go-to thing, then I can see how that would definitely be a touch of home. I personally don't have really a specific thing that I crave, because as I'd mentioned probably before in other broadcasts that we've done, I was raised in the armed forces, and I moved all over the country, so I don't really have a hometown, so I can't identify with one particular locale and its cuisine. So
you like a good red beer though, right?
I like red amber beers. I like Guinness. I like stouts. There's not many beers that I really I've tasted and gone, oh,
I haven't met a beer I don't like.
I don't like that beer. I'm not a big fan of wheat ales, like white beers. I don't mind stouts, ambers, IPAs. I like a good Pilsner. I like a good Belgian beer. I mean, but I'm not a heavy beer drinker either. I like a good beer when I have one.
All right, for those of you watching, this is Mike Gamache. You can find him on Facebook. Don was with us as well. They're on Instagram at Don Xanklin Comedy, and that's my link tree for all my shows. I'll be live tonight with the Wiggle Room, though I believe it is sold out. Occasionally, we will have some tickets become available at the door, and it should be a lot of fun. Coming up, we got Battlecom at the end of the month. Season 2 of The Love Doctor is going to be kicking off this coming Sunday. So, with guests Misty Portugal and Felicia Rain.
And what's on the next They Talk Funny?
The next Day Talk Funny is yet to be booked.
Okay.
So I took a little bit of a break from that when I took breaks from the other things.
Right.
But I've got a couple feelers out, so it should be pretty good once it
Okay. Well,
comes
looking
back.
forward to that.
And,
You always have great guests on.
The Battle Report is going to be coming back.
Oh.
So Battle Report is going to come back, and it's going to be me and Erica Tadeo and occasional guests as well. And we're going to be talking, probably reacting to trailer videos and talking about what has happened on Battlecom and what's going to happen on upcoming Battlecoms. So
Things to
that's
look
us.
forward to. Okay.
I'm keeping busy. He's building a house, and I'm just sitting on the lake.
I'm not building a house. I'm rebuilding my house.
Rebuilding a house.
Yeah.
Final words, Mike?
Well, be well, everyone, and stay safe, and we'll all see you all next week.
And be kind.
Be kind, yes.
Especially to those people